All right, Cathy's, we are back with another episode of Group Chat. Drama's been absent. He's got the vid.
Got something.
He said he tested negative.
And he said he had a really bad fever.
And he's still coughing,
now he says
raspy.
He's raspy and congested.
Fever
I get why you can't do it. Raspy and congested, I do not.
Raspy, congested, I wouldn't want to do the pod. It's annoying. It sounds bad on the other side.
Okay.
So feel better. It's wild how many people have COVID. It's wild how many people are testing and have COVID.
Yeah, and I'm curious why people are testing. Think about it's like a fraction of the people that would have been 2 years ago. So the cases must be 50x.
Yeah, I think the tail, there's gonna be a long tail of people testing, right? Like this year, way less people.
Yep.
Next year will be less, and then you'll just forget.
Yeah, because this strain of COVID that's going around, even physicians are saying we can't tell if it's COVID, or allergies, or flu.
It's that time of year. School's back in session. Kids are.
It's not like original COVID where people were just like going to the hospital, and
they could be. They could be, and we just don't care.
I think that would be a bigger news story. There's a slight uptick
in hospital.
Mm-hmm. But that's like anyone with comorbidities. You get sick, you get a flu. If you have all the comorbidities, you're probably ending up in a hospital.
Yeah. We're never going to address that except with Ozempic.
Yeah, once Ozempic's pill form, I think you'll see the healthcare system's going to have a massive decline.
Decline in revenue. Well, I guess Ozempic is part of the healthcare system.
Hospitals don't benefit from Ozempic.
Yeah.
Anti-cholesterol drugs don't benefit from Ozempic. You lose weight.
Yeah.
You're less likely to have high cholesterol.
I guess
cardiologists don't benefit from Ozempic.
A lot of people don't. Insurance companies.
That's going to be interesting. Do they get it blocked?
No.
Because right now you need a prescription.
No, you know what happens? They basically create an Ozempic version that creates side effects that you have to treat.
That sends you back into the hospital system.
Yeah, for other issues.
Yeah. It
shrinks your nuts.
If people lose 50, 60 pounds, they're not going to be unhealthy.
No, then you don't need to go to the doctor.
You don't need to. You're not going to be, with all these subspecialists.
Because what do you think the average person in America who's overweight, they're overweight, what, 30 to 50 pounds?
Easy. And
that's easily fixable by Ozempic.
In months.
If you're 200 pounds overweight, then Ozempic's just a start.
Yeah. There aren't that many people 200 pounds overweight. There's a lot. Everyone's 30 to 50 pounds. Just go to an airport.
Yeah.
The whole airport's 30 to 50 pounds.
Yeah.
I wonder
if structurally airports are built stronger because everyone's just so heavy.
What do you think?
Like an elevator airport.
If you were to go to airport 30 to 50 pounds overweight, that's 90% of the passengers.
Oh yeah, 90. Yeah, easily. I go.
That's America.
Yeah. When I if I go to the Hudson News and I see what snacks people are buying.
McDonald's still has the longest line.
So someone who lives in an airport, McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, and then depending on the time of day, Shake Shack is number 3.
It's amazing.
And then there's what's funny is in LaGuardia Airport.
That's nice now, right?
It's beautiful. It's unbelievable. And it's easy. It's fast. I highly recommend flying out of there. Where I think Delta flies in LaGuardia, there's a bar. There's
but you can't get to LA, right?
Yeah, with a stop.
Okay.
You can't get nonstop. But it was I was taking a regional flight somewhere around the neighborhood. And there was a juice acai bowl place. Everything was packed line. Not one person at the acai bowl juice place. It was unbelievable. Whereas in LA, you go to the acai bowl place, you go to Backyard Bowl.
Slammed.
Yeah, it takes 40 minutes. To get Earth Bar, it takes 20.
Creation's always busy.
Everything, yeah. It's really interesting. I think early on, people used to make fun of the Oh, LA with their juices, $12 juices, and like, and even like I'll just say with my kids, like, there's nothing my kids want more than an acai bowl and a smoothie.
So what's your point about people making fun of it?
Because like everyone will say like, oh, you know, somebody say, oh, they're bougie, they're whatever, but like it's better than McDonald's.
Of course. But that's why that fat Italian dude went viral on the internet when he was making fun of the Hailey Bieber drink at Erewhon.
Yeah.
It's like the Hailey Bieber.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how expensive it was.
Yeah.
And he goes, am I going to lose weight now?
Yeah. But that's...
but it was... The whole point of it was he was making fun of LA culture.
Yes, of course. I mean, everyone does, right? The Erewhon smoothie. But like, after I have a $12 smoothie versus how I feel eating Taco Bell is very different.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, if it's just part of your regimen, I don't think you feel different.
I think you do. You just don't even realize it.
Because the baseline is that?
I remember very, very vividly, and I think I've told you this, when Chris Paul moved to LA, like literally the week he moved to LA, we got introduced to him for 5-4 stuff. And we had lunch at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And at the end of lunch, I was like, man, I'm comatose. I'm so full. I don't know. I probably ate a full pizza at lunch. So this is what, like 14 years ago. And he's like, that's not good. I'm like, why? He's like, if you feel uncomfortable after any meal, that means you've eaten the wrong thing or you've overeaten. And I was like, fuck, I feel like that after every meal.
Yeah.
And I became like very conscious at that point about like what I would eat that makes me feel. I didn't necessarily eat healthier. I think I just ate different foods that maybe my body didn't react well to. And just thinking it through that lens, like I obviously eat unhealthy. Like it's not like I'm a healthy eater for like 50%.
You can't when you travel.
Yeah, 50% of the time I eat pretty unhealthy. But even when I eat unhealthy now, I eat things that like I feel relative.
Or you just eat less of it.
Less, or I eat relatively. I have things that I know that won't like make me feel gross. That's what I try to. I just don't like the feeling.
No, I agree. I mean, to your point that it just becomes the norm. Like in high school, we would just stuff ourselves at Taco Bell and Baja Fresh. Probably felt like shit.
Yeah, you just didn't care. You just didn't care, and you didn't realize it. And then one day when you don't feel like it, you're like, oh, this feels pretty good. All right, well, that's our health advice section of the pod today. Let's talk about the biggest thing happening right now. The Federal Reserve, came out today. Everyone is expecting a 1/4 basis point hike. They decided to pause and wait.
No, they baked in. What was baked in was 99% chance of no hike today, but then everyone's baking in a future hike.
Yeah, so the thing that caused them pause was obviously inflation is still rampant, and now we have gas inflation. Crude oil, I just saw it when I walked in here, was $94 a barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Filling up gas in LA right now is $6.39, $6.49, $6.99, $7 again you're seeing. So the price of gasoline is causing inflation on America. I think the average gallon of gas now in America is $4.
Yeah.
Which is way higher than it was a year ago. That is the real reason why the Fed may raise rates again. Because that inflation, they need to curb demand of gas. But I don't think they have any control of that because that's completely controlled by Saudi Arabia.
OPEC. OPEC decides to cut. They can make it $9 gas.
Yeah.
They can make us $12 gas if they wanted.
And it sounds like it is politically motivated. They're coming. I think they want a regime change because Biden's not probably supporting Saudis like they want them to.
Yeah.
So you head into an election season and you got $8 gas. Biden has zero shot.
Yeah, I mean, and these leaders are all plotting against trying to make the American economy suffer.
Yeah.
So you have Putin, Saudi, China,
Modi,
India.
Yeah.
They have no incentive. I bet you they're getting cheaper gas.
Oh, yeah. They all are getting cheaper gas. They've all made backdoor deals with all these people. and it's really an American issue.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting because the federal.
But, I mean, what you should see if gas prices stay like this, what you should see is consumers should fall off a cliff. Let's see. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is we have the student loan payments resume next week, October 1st.
The pause is over.
But most economists think that's not that the people who have to pay student loans have already accounted for it, and it's not going to be the
change
impact.
Their lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, if gas stays like this, you got to imagine holiday travel, holiday consumers shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Or should be less.
And they're projecting an uptick in sales.
FedEx just beat.
Yeah. When I saw FedEx beat earnings, I was like, everything about parcel shipping is down. They missed on revenue. Cost savings, earnings. But man, I don't know. It's pretty
higher for longer. He should get that tatted on his face, Jerome Powell.
The problem is the stat that we shared last week is American households have the most money they've ever had. The net worth of America is higher. So despite all the costs and the amount of money that's moved into money market funds.
Yeah, it's record.
Some absurd numbers in money market fund. Stock market has basically recovered, 60, 70%. So, Joe America's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, Powell's trying to break the economy as much as possible, and he can't.
It's unbreakable.
I mean, the American consumer is fighting Saudi Arabia, Russia, China, and Jerome Powell.
Yeah. And they don't give a fuck. American consumer is just Jake Paul just beating everybody up. It's unbelievable because nothing is stopping these guys. Nothing's stopping America.
No.
We want to go somewhere. I was looking, a friend of mine was going to Cabo for New Year's.
Oh, God, I can't even imagine.
So I was like, I'll look up what Cabo costs to go for New Year's. I can't even get a room. And I go, hey, man, I looked, we would only go for 3-4 nights. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's 10-night minimum.
Yeah.
I was like, 10-night minimum? And it's some absurd price?
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way come December this is going to be real. I'm going to wait it out, see if it comes down. I'm curious. Every year I keep saying that it's going to break.
I think this year the 10-night will stay.
10-night. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
10-night minimum. Who the fuck wants to go with their family anywhere for 10 nights?
I bet you they're burning 3 of the nights.
Whatever. We have to go.
Yeah.
So 3 nights are just torched.
The residences, if you find those at the hotels, you can negotiate those down.
Those are a fortune.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I'm looking for the, abandoned room that's in the corner, courtyard
I wonder
view.
when are they locked in? When can they cancel up to? I don't know what those 10 nights.
So I looked up to December 12th is a big day.
Check the 12th.
Yeah. 13th should be the hot day.
Because everyone's waiting.
I think it's 2 weeks because I was looking for December 26th and to the 31st. That time period.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable if it's 10-night minimum still this year and the prices don't drop.
I don't, if they're already booked, are the 10 nights booked?
I don't think it is. I think if I go, I have to check. I need to put 10 nights and see if all of a sudden hotels show up. Because I put 3 nights.
Right. Yeah.
3 nights there are hotels. It's just adults only and weird properties that we can't go to.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Jerome Powell paused.
Higher for longer.
Higher for longer. So I agree with that. I don't think the cuts are coming as fast as everyone says. People were talking about cuts in the first half of next year. Absolutely not. There's no way. This oil prices are not going to plummet by the end of the year.
Yeah, but aren't gas prices a natural tightening of the consumer?
Should be.
So the higher gas prices are going to do more of whatever Powell's going to do.
I'd rather walk and keep spending.
I mean, even the conversation that Jordan and Ali were having before, they both want to get rid of their cars.
And do what?
They're gas too expensive. car notes too expensive, live close, make your life small, and walk or scooter or whatever.
Urban living.
Mm-hmm.
So rents will go up because everyone's going to get rid of their cars because they want to live in the big city.
Yeah, maybe.
Car is insanely expensive. When you look at car payment, car insurance, assume I don't get car washes, but assume you get a car wash. Any level of maintenance, and then gas.
It's very expensive.
Like, you're talking like, assume you have a $600-$700 car payment, few $100 for car insurance, plus, it's like $1,500 a month.
Easily. I mean, before we had 2 kids, we had 1 car forever. Yeah. And I kept my life small. I walked here.
Yeah. That's interesting. A lot of like pretty structural changes could happen.
Yeah, we'll see.
With inflation. We'll see. But guess what? The party is not stopping. Not only is the 10-night minimum happening, IPOs are back.
IPOs are back.
This is wild. 3 IPOs in the last 7 days. 7 business days. First was the ARM IPO, the British semiconductor company that SoftBank owns like 90% of.
Yeah.
Then you have Instacart that went public yesterday.
Yep.
And then today you had Klaviyo, the e-commerce email solution. Let's talk Instacart.
Okay.
Instacart was kind of like a COVID darling. And I think at the peak had a valuation of 29 billion.
39.
39, missed 10 billion.
It's 10 billion amongst friends.
Not much, really. And there was a really nice breakdown that everyone's been posting, which is basically who got in when.
Mm-hmm.
And like the earliest investors were YC, Khosla, Andreessen, and Sequoia, right? Were those like the 3?
And Canaan Partners. Yep.
What do you mean? Canaan Partners. Canaan. Okay, cool. So those were the early, and those people basically won.
So basically, if you invested, so the first seed investment came in 2012, and it's 2023 fall. If you invested after 2014, you lost money.
Got it. And that was 9 years ago.
It was 9 years ago, and that's how many rounds after? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 rounds of capital.
Wow. And all these people participated at different levels.
Mm-hmm.
But it got out. They got liquidity, which is better than, I mean, the worst was our dear friends at Fidelity, T. Rowe Price, and Sequoia. They lost 50%.
IRR.
Yeah, they lost 70% total.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is the thing. The IPO market is open if you've restructured your business and you have a reasonable valuation.
So Instacart is profitable.
Profitable, and it's traded down since the IPO.
Yeah.
It was up 40%.
Yeah.
Which would have represented a $14 billion valuation. It closed at 8.5 billion. Klaviyo also IPO'd at their last round valuation, which was probably inflated.
Yeah, but that's a win.
And then they restructured the company and they got out. So, I mean, if you can, there's going to be plenty of zeros. Let's be really clear. If you go through 2021 deals, there are plenty of zeros.
Yeah.
But the ones that are real businesses, you just have to reapply your valuation. You probably go public.
I think the interesting thing is with Instacart, like them being a private like company that fixed their problems, got profitable, and is now created liquidity. And by the way, like
it's a win for the founders and early employees.
I actually think it's a win for everyone because the alternative is zero.
Yeah.
Right? And I think Fidelity and T. Rowe Price,
they don't care.
They don't give a shit. They're $1 trillion companies. They basically can hold it in the public market. The stock, if the stock in the next 3 years doubles, which it could, they're fine.
Yeah, they probably may have dumped into the IPO. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. They showed the 3 founders sold 3.5 million shares into the IPO. Two guys sold over 1 million, and then Apurva sold like 700,000 shares.
That's it?
Yeah. Which is what is that, 20 million bucks?
Yeah.
Is that it? Is it really like
$30 stock?
Yeah. Nothing.
There was a tender offer in 2020.
But he says he still has $1 billion plus in stock. So he has a lot of equity still. And he was the one that left the company in 2021.
Yes.
Some may say left, some may say pushed out.
Some may say Sequoia did it.
Some may say Sequoia did it. They are known for kicking out their founders. So that's, I think it's, I mean, look, good for them. First of all, good for the founders. They all became billionaires.
Yeah, they're all billionaires, and they actually had to go through a lot. When when Amazon bought Whole Foods, everyone wrote the obituary for Instacart.
What's interesting is in like almost any instance, it is the obituary. Like we're seeing it happen like in so many categories, like buy now, pay later. Apple's doing it. You could now do it on your phone. It's so easy. It's like you see these instances where Amazon and Apple have really killed fucking mega businesses, but they didn't. And do you guys use Instacart? Mm-hmm. You don't use Amazon Fresh?
No, we use Instacart.
Because you don't do Whole Foods?
No, we don't do Whole Foods.
What do you do? Ralph's?
Ralph's, Kroger's, Albertsons.
Wow. Why not Whole Foods? You're rich.
A conscious consumer.
Really? Austerity measures.
Yeah.
So you're down with unorganic peanut butter.
No, they get all that stuff there.
Do they?
Yeah.
Ralph's has organic?
Yeah.
They have Doritos.
You don't have to get Doritos. Our stuff, I mean...
When I walk into a Ralph's, I specifically go to Ralph's for Doritos.
I mean, Mav has a pretty strict diet. It's gluten-free, all this, blah, blah, blah. It's all through Instacart.
Wow. Look at that.
You should save some bucks.
There's certain things, I just like their private label. Whatever that brand is, 365. It's so good. And by the way, since Amazon took over, prices are cheaper.
That's good.
They've definitely driven the price of stuff down, which is pretty awesome. The other interesting thing to note on the Instacart IPO, Albertson was a pretty significant shareholder in the business.
I mean, that's a very savvy move. Albertson.
So here's an interesting thing, because I'm going through this as a founder myself. People don't like it when you buy revenue. But I'm a believer in it. Like you could do a strategic deal, like Liquid Death with Live Nation gave them distribution in all of the event menus. But Albertson's deal with Instacart got them, so Albertson made a shitload of money probably from this deal. Instacart got all the revenue, and it's a great partnership. Everybody wins. So you think it's viewed as savvy not buying revenue?
I think they had an existential threat with Whole Foods being bought by Amazon that they had to go do these types of deals, and it paid off. Albertsons is one of the biggest grocers, way bigger than Whole Foods in the country, and it's smart. Give them equity, get distribution, and you have like one of the biggest grocers in the country as an exclusive partner that Amazon can't go to.
Yeah, so I think the key is, I guess that's the only way that Albertsons could have been incentivized, right? Like, give us equity.
Yeah.
Let us invest or whatever it is, right? Like, they have to be incentivized to want to do it.
Yeah, I thought it was really great move. And Apurva did a great tweet thread on like...
Apurva's the CEO.
Apurva, the founder, ex-CEO.
Ex-CEO.
About how he came up with the idea and how he started it. He's a coder by trade. Engineer. Yeah. And
he was just hungry one day.
He said he opened his refrigerator. He had no food in it. He had like a 12-pack of beer. And he's like, this is stupid. Yeah. He's like, I don't want to go to the grocery store. Yeah. And that's how, and like he hustled his way into YC. Gary Tam wrote like a whole thing about it. Like he had to backdoor his way in. Yeah. And
he's a serial entrepreneur. Yeah. Failed a bunch of times.
This is public. You know what his next company is?
What is it?
GLP drugs.
Okay, so we're on trend. He got everyone fat through Instacart. Now he's going to make you skinny. He saw the writing on the wall. He's like, everyone's here ordering fucking Milk Duds and Doritos. I know everyone who he shops with him, he can sell them GLP drugs.
Yeah, he raised a ton of money. It was publicly announced like 18 months ago.
So is it a platform to access it, or it's actually developing drugs?
Look, they haven't released the product. They've been working on it for 18 months. They have a shitload of money. It just seems to be
like a press a button and someone sticks a needle in your ass and you lose weight.
My assumption is
platform.
It's hymns for Ozempic.
Got it.
Get a fake virtual consultant.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're really fat.
Yeah. Wait, do I qualify for insurance-based Ozempic? Yes. You're a pig. Come on down.
Yeah, he's going to crush it.
Yeah. Good for him. I mean, look, there's and these people who've gone to the dance and that are still motivated are basically the best founders. And he probably has a chip on his shoulder because of what happened. Yeah, I mean,
I know him, but my friends are very close with him. Yeah. He's in grind mode.
Yeah. I would love to grind and be a billionaire. That would be
fun. He's
in
great shape. He won't need his product.
No. And a very nice guy.
Very nice guy.
Yeah. Fun time. Well, good for him. Congratulations. Similar Klaviyo IPO, what I thought was really interesting is Shopify is a major stakeholder in Klaviyo.
There you go.
And so, as you start
explain what Klaviyo does?
What?
Explain what Klaviyo does.
It's basically an email service provider for e-commerce sites. There's a guy named Sean Ecom on Twitter. He's an incredible thread if you're in the direct-to-consumer e-commerce space. And he wrote this whole thread about Klaviyo's dependent on Shopify. And he said Shopify owns 11%. 77% of Klaviyo's revenue came from Shopify customers. The next largest bucket, WooCommerce at 10%. So he's like, to me, this company is just a proxy for Shopify. And Shopify has the right to buy way more shares when they want. So if Klaviyo pops off, Shopify benefits. If Shopify releases a new Klaviyo killer, says a new, better integrated email service, then Shopify benefits themselves. So it's a really, really interesting, when you start uncovering these big companies. Instacart has, Albertsons, Shopify has, Klaviyo has Shopify. It almost makes it feel that independently building something is almost impossible. Yeah. Right? Because they had the money too. Instacart raised billions of dollars. Klaviyo raised $1 billion. It's these companies have raised I don't know if Klaviyo raised $1 billion, but they raised a lot of money. And it's even with all that money, you still need to go fucking kiss the devil.
Well, you need distribution, right?
Yeah.
Shopify's the biggest platform for e-commerce businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of have to. How else do you break in? Imagine if PacSun on day one said, we want 5% of Reckless. We would have said yes.
Yeah.
We had zero business.
Yeah. Well, I think a good comp for that is the PacSun relationship with Fear of God Essentials, in streetwear. Essentials is an incredible brand, but the distribution of PacSun created it to be accessible to a larger group of people. And people just don't appreciate distribution.
And imagine if PacSun owned, call it even 10%. They would make sure your placement's the best.
Yeah.
There'd be no negotiation.
Yeah.
We had to beg.
Yeah. I don't understand why so many traditional companies never did this. Why didn't Walmart go to fucking Estee Lauder 30 years ago and say, look, you want the whole fucking aisle? Just give us 5% of the company. We'll do 50 billion with you.
Yeah.
You could do, they control it. If you have the distribution, why create it? Or just control. Even Amazon. I think Amazon's biggest mistake is their idea they can build everything. And that's why so many things of theirs have missed.
Google's had the same issue. That's why they just have to go buy everything.
Yeah, just buy. There's people who do things better than you do. Partner, buy.
But that's the thing. We've talked about this since the beginning of this podcast 6 years ago. People make fun of Silicon Valley and tech. They actually understand that dynamic.
Yeah.
They think outside the box.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you realize if Instacart was run by like a ex Kroger's executive, they're like, we're not giving Albertsons a piece of our business, and they would be out of business.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a great lesson to learn. If you can have the distribution be an equity holder in your business, it's cheating.
Yeah, and I think founders in general protect equity too much. Most of the greatest outcomes, the CEO and founder end up owning single digit of the company, but then it's $1 billion. It's a multi-billion dollar exit.
And Apurva owns single digit, and he's a billionaire.
Yeah,
he's fine.
Yeah, he lives a great life.
Yeah. So what if Albertson owns a bunch of your company? Gives a shit. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's fascinating. And I think the IPO market is going to be really fun to watch because I think it's so good for the ecosystem because
I think the floodgates open by the first quarter of next year.
Because these are like the best companies.
And these are companies you've been hearing about going public.
Yeah.
Now everyone's going to be calling their Goldman banker.
Be like, get me out of here. 30% down.
Do you know how many conversations people have had with bankers that are late stage? I mean,
yeah,
a lot.
Yeah. We have to see companies with really shitty numbers go public. That's when you know.
No, I think that's going to be the difference. They're not going to get out like 21 and 20. You have to have a real business.
Do you?
I think at least until Jay Powell starts cutting.
Yeah.
That's when the shitty businesses get to go out.
So that's 25.
25 and 26, you get the SPACs out.
Yeah.
Oh, that whole mania will come
a
out.
whole new generation of people pitching something new.
Yeah.
All right.
25, 26 is when the AI IPOs start.
Oh, yeah. Here's a $73 billion company with $5 million of revenue. Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. I'm excited because I think it's good. It's just good for the entire world if these IPOs come out. It'll help founders get money again.
And it's good for innovation.
Yeah.
Because you see Apurva make $1 billion after 11 years of hard work.
Yeah.
You're like, I'll put that in if I could and create something.
Yeah. All right. This is exciting news. Neuralink, another Elon Musk company, is going to have its first human patient receive a Neuralink device. So this is basically something that's embedded in their brain, right?
Yep.
And so this is insane.
Yeah, so Neuralink tweeted out today, if you have quadriplegia due to cervical spinal cord injury or amyotrophic lateral
ALS.
ALS.
Yeah.
You may qualify. Go on our blog post.
Can you imagine like you're dealing with these things your whole life? I think Stephen Hawking had.
Yeah, that's what Elon tweeted.
Yeah.
The first human patient will soon receive a Neuralink device. This ultimately has the potential to restore full body movement. In the long term, Neuralink hopes to play a role in AI civilization risk reduction by improving human to AI and human to human bandwidth by several orders of magnitude. Imagine if Stephen Hawking had this.
Wow.
That's wild.
Yeah.
If people that didn't have mobility all of a sudden have mobility.
I mean, Elon Musk is just, he's unbelievable. The things, I have to read his book. I really wanted drama on today because I know I'm sure he's finished the book. And
it's probably 1,000 pages.
Yeah, he probably read the whole thing. And so, and everyone who's read it or reading it, I've talked to a few people, have just said it's like incredible read.
He let him in, and I don't think Walter Isaacson does puff pieces.
No.
So he had followed him around, and Elon probably wanted it out while he was still alive.
Yeah.
While he's still at his peak.
Yeah. Like, I don't want you to catch me on the decline.
Yeah.
Because, that was the sad part of Steve Jobs. It's just like, it's like basically end of life.
Yeah.
So it's not like, it's a very sad ending and like probably a lot of regrets. Elon's like, basically, the next decade is Elon's peak.
Yeah, I mean, SpaceX is like absolutely on fire.
Yeah. I mean, there's how many IPOs this guy's going to have?
Boring Company, Neuralink, SpaceX.
Starlink
too. Unbelievable. He's going to be a trillionaire.
I think he'll be a trillionaire in the next 3 years. Right? All his wealth is based off Tesla stock. Well, this other shit hasn't even gone public yet.
The number of people that are inquiring on SpaceX stock in like the secondary market, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to own it.
Yeah. And no one even really understands how they make their money.
Yeah, I mean, don't they just make rockets and send them up?
Who pays for them? The government? I guess that's our biggest customer, right? NASA?
Probably, yeah.
All right. Moving on. This is interesting. I didn't read this story, but I saw this headline. The billionaire keeping TikTok on phones in the U.S. Who is this?
So his name is, this guy's name is Jeff Yoss. He runs like a massive fund. The fund owns 15% of ByteDance, which they bought in 2012.
Wow.
He personally, of that 15%, he owns 7% of ByteDance.
Oh, God.
And, you know, it was his net worth on that alone is $21 billion, this guy. And he's a large Republican donor.
Yeah.
And he's backed one of the big Republican PACs called Club for Growth. And after he gave them $24 million, they came out and said, we don't want to ban TikTok. And then the Republican politicians that are beneficiaries of this PAC are in Congress lobbying against the ban of TikTok. Here's where the story doesn't add up, because Wall Street Journal made this like a massive hit piece. Yeah. This is why TikTok. You think Facebook hasn't donated $24 million to a PAC?
Yeah.
So I don't think this is causation.
I mean, if I'm Jeff, I don't think you have to do anything. I think no one wants TikTok banned.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter.
I mean, I think the $24 million was insurance, but $24 million isn't the reason TikTok is keeping his $21 billion safe.
It's just so good.
It's just a great story. And people are tweeting this like it's like a breakthrough. How much do you think Facebook spent on lobbying in the last decade?
All of these companies.
Every one of them. Google.
You don't think anybody, I mean, hundreds of millions.
No one in big tech wins by TikTok winning. And think about how much money big tech has donated to politicians.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. TikTok won.
I agree. But my point is, I think the hit piece was stupid.
Yeah.
You think this one random guy that owns a $21 billion stake can control the government with a $24 million donation?
I do think it's that cheap to control people, though.
But my point was just made. You think the big tech hasn't...
Maybe they're cheap.
No, I'm sure it's public information how much Facebook's donated. And they donate to all sides, these companies. They have all their bases covered.
Yeah. It's just... I have to say, Reels has gotten a lot better.
You think so?
Yeah. I'm definitely like getting better content on Reels.
I'm getting sent Reels links, which I never used to.
Yeah.
You know, just like memes or whatever the hell.
Yeah. I definitely think there's been an uptick in Reels. Like the experience is better. But yeah, it's not quite TikTok, but still, it's good.
Yeah. I mean...
All right.
Yeah, TikTok's not going anywhere.
No, just whatever.
I feel like
save your 24 million. You won. Just like ask for a refund from these politicians.
The real problem with ByteDance is if the U.S. lets it go public here, it's not as valuable if it goes public in Hong Kong or China.
100% ByteDance will be public in America. Why would we? That's actually so stupid. If you're not banning the company, we might as well make money off of it. Let our bankers...
Do you think there's like back channels through like Chinese government to U.S. like this is an active war if you ban TikTok?
Yeah, maybe.
Because there's no other reason we haven't banned it. We could have banned it 2 years ago when it wasn't this big.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I'm sure it's a very complex one because it's so popular.
Well, I think it's complex because there has to be a reason why politicians...
Maybe they just love TikTok.
Maybe.
All right, moving on. The AI. This is an AI topic I can finally get behind.
Mm-hmm.
I've experienced it, and it is phenomenal. So Google now introduced an AI barred experience into Gmail, Maps, and YouTube. Yesterday on my Gmail, at the bottom of it, it said, let me pull exactly what it says. It says when I reply, Basically says, do you need help writing? I don't know exactly what it said. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. But it basically asks you, do you need help writing this? And it helped me write. And it literally will ask you for details of like what your response should be, and it will formulate your response. Then, if you already have written your response, before you hit send, it gives you the ability to formalize the email, shorten it, or lengthen it. So I used it for an email I was sending to a very large company where I formalized it and it made it to a formal email. Like, you know, when I'm typing on my phone, I'm sure I'm grammatically so incorrect. It's just not even like, but you know, these big companies, they like the formalities of things. It's so good. And basically a lot of people were going to ChatGPT and having them do what they need and then bringing it back and sending the email or note or whatever. But now you could just do it within Gmail. It's phenomenal. It's an incredible experience.
And how are they integrating into Maps and YouTube?
Maps I have not seen. I haven't experienced exactly how they're doing Maps. But I just used Maps this morning, so I didn't see it firsthand. But let me see what they're saying in terms of like the actual feature. But man, Google is really going to be the biggest winner of AI.
That's what I always said.
Yeah.
They bought DeepMind 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You think they're just sitting on their hands?
I think people just assume they're just sitting on snacks.
And Larry and Sergey are, by all accounts, very involved again. They got bored and they came back, even though they're worth an ungodly amount of money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious to see how all of this plays out in terms of like the speed at which AI has been deployed at Microsoft and Google is so fast. Where does it really leave everyone who's building in the space? I think there's a lot of opportunity to build AI into your existing business, but I don't know how all the companies who are building things to compete with these guys is going to work.
I don't think you could build anything and compete if it's a public data set.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
They already won.
They won. Because they have the data.
Well, the data is public.
Yeah.
And they have the most of it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't create an AI that uses Maps better than Google Maps. They have how many 10 plus years of billions of people using their app?
Yeah.
It's impossible.
They won.
They won at public stuff.
Yeah.
Email.
Yeah. Email, Maps, YouTube. I think Microsoft will win with Excel.
They'll win enterprise.
They'll win enterprise. Google will win consumer.
What about AI for cloud?
My guys at CoreWeave.
Databricks.
Yeah.
They're big AI cloud guys.
Yeah. Someone was hyping up
in the
Databricks
Discord
at Run Club.
Someone was hyping it up in the Discord.
Yeah. No one really. I asked, what is it exactly? He's like, oh, you're just the cloud. So I don't know. We'll see. But I am very impressed with the early signs of it. And I assume it gets smarter and smarter. And so your emails and your response, where is AI on iMessage? That's what I need. LOL. I need to be able to send LOL automatically.
Well, you could just double click and say, haha, why are you typing LOL?
Because I lolled.
You're conveying the same response.
No, for me, it's very different. I've made it clear that lol and haha for me is very different.
I mean, that was the whole genius of how they changed iMessage. It's supposed to clean up the chat. We don't need your nonsense. LOL.
I don't like with the heart and the exclamation and the ha. I want to say it.
You're cluttering our chat threads.
Yes, I am cluttering. I like it though. It doesn't feel real otherwise. Oh, you fucking hearted my note.
LOL also seems very ingenuous.
That is the purpose for me.
I think you should just HA people.
No, so I said it on the pod. LOL means I acknowledge that it is funny, but it is funny to you.
Or
And
you
it's-
tried to be funny.
It's amusing to me. Not funny, amusing.
So how do we know you're a chuckling?
Ha ha. Ha ha, I actually laughed.
Are you going to throw the third H in there?
Third H, I'm dying. If it's 3, 4 ha's, I'm like legit like crying laughing. Lol doesn't mean I don't like it. It's just I'm not like ha-haing.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at our thread because you did lol this morning.
I do a lot of lols to you guys.
Yeah, Mikey created a inappropriate meme of me and you said LOL.
I find it amusing. I just didn't laugh out loud.
Then you shouldn't lol.
But that's I've just characterized lol as my it's funny, but I'm not like crying laughing.
Okay.
All right. Last bit of news before we head into winners, losers content. Home prices are finally expected to rise in 2024. Real reason, nothing to do with interest rates. There's no fucking houses.
Yeah, you can't build.
And so even the builders are saying like they just can't build supply fast enough.
And no one wants to build with, 12% construction money.
Yeah.
Loans.
Is that the real reason?
Yeah.
The construction rates are too high.
All of it is too high. You have to borrow money to build these homes.
What if you're
Real
cash
estate
rich?
doesn't work without leverage.
Well, people with cash.
What do you mean? Yeah, that's what small universe of buyers is that.
Corva.
He can buy cash.
Yeah. He could build in cash.
He can build in cash. Yeah,
So if I were to build today in cash, I don't know, you have friends in real estate. Do I have any advantage here if I don't need the loan? Like, what's my advantage? Is there an advantage?
your advantage is like you're competing against no one.
To build.
To buy, tear down, build. If you show up to someone and say,
But then that would mean the prices are better, and they're not.
if you show up with all cash, I bet you can get cheaper prices.
Why? What is it to the seller? The seller's getting all cash no matter what, right? Like, fuck cares. Like,
It
it's just
closes
speed.
quicker.
Yeah, that's it. If you're desperate.
Divorces, they need all cash buyers. They can't wait for a mortgage.
So what? You just troll divorce?
I always had this idea of a business.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
You basically puts the biggest divorce attorney in LA on payroll.
Yep.
Be like, oh, it's Susie and John. It's a bad divorce.
Yeah.
She wants to stick him for the house.
Yeah.
They got to sell.
And then he tips you off.
Yeah.
There's scumbag business.
There is a woman. She's the biggest divorce attorney in LA.
Yeah.
She does all the high profile divorces. She's the one.
She's the one. You go to her and you basically like
Give her a piece like Instacart Albertsons.
Yeah. That's strategic partnership. So if you're in real estate, you want to go to her and she tips you off. And she knows the finances of every one of the...
And she knows who needs to sell immediately.
Yeah. That's racket got to be going on already.
I bet you it's going on informally.
But just more professionalized.
Just make it efficient, efficient formal business.
Yeah. Marketplace.
You know what happens in that scenario that I just described? That big shot divorce attorney calls all the private wealth managers, UBS, Goldman.
He goes,
JP.
Mary needs to move fast. Who do you got?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know anyone buying in Brentwood?
Yeah. Who's got 30 in Brentwood? Yeah. I want. Do divorces rise in tough economic times, or do people like hunker down and say, you know what, shit's fucked out there. Let's make this work.
I mean, I'm sure there's data on it. My assumption is if you're struggling economically, you're forced to be in a shitty marriage because it's too expensive to leave.
Oh, okay. Not just.
That's my assumption. There's got to be data on this.
Yeah, there has to be data.
But I would just think you're like, I have to move out, get an apartment. You have kids that you can't do a shitty apartment.
Yeah, fuck it up. Fuck it. I'll put up with Joe. He's a piece of shit, but we got no money, so.
Total assumption, but it makes sense. The logic makes sense.
I was going to go the other way. Just being like, you're just at despair. Just like, whatever, we're broke anyways. Might as well, why I have to see your ugly face every day?
But if you think about it.
People aren't thinking that rational.
No, but if you think about immigrant families, like all the Indian people from our parents' generation, Asian immigrants, same generation.
Yeah.
very few divorces when we were growing up from that demo. They came with nothing. They're struggling.
They're just like, we're stuck. I hate your face, but I'm stuck with you.
I mean, don't you remember from growing up?
It was very inconvenient to be divorced. Now it's very convenient.
Yeah, now those divorce rates and those cultures are
It's
rampant.
equal to
yeah.
any other culture. Yeah.
But it jives with my thesis. You didn't have money. You didn't have an option. You just put up with it.
Wow. Okay. I like it. All right, let's move on. Winners, losers, content. What do we got?
Shedeur Sanders, the Shedeur.
The Shedeur.
It's taken the internet by storm.
Yeah, it's so good.
So he flashes his watch,
Yeah.
and now like Rick Ross, DJ Khaled, they're all doing the Shedeur. It's like if you're cool, you have to do the Shedeur.
Yeah.
And you have to flash your watch.
I mean, my winner is, Colorado, Deion Sanders. Particularly Deion Sanders because he addressed. So if you watch the game on Saturday, we talked about it a lot on Sunday, but if you watched the game, there was a bad hit Travis Hunter, like one of the stars in Colorado took. And apparently that kid was getting death threats. And Deion Sanders went on during his press conference yesterday and said,
forget death threats. There were NFL players going on podcasts saying he should be kicked out of the sport.
Yeah. Deion Sanders.
He can't lose.
He's so good. And I know it's like my biggest concern. What Deion Sanders came out and said is completely inappropriate. This kid did not have, ill intention. I've forgiven him. Travis Hunter has forgiven him. We've moved on. There's no place for this type of action. I hope that anyone communicating this is not from the Colorado fan base. And just handle it with such grace and class.
So, I hope he gets a degree. I hope he has a degree with honors, and I hope he's in the NFL.
Exactly. Like, perfect way to handle it. Deion is so hot. I'm just afraid that they're going to get spanked this weekend.
Yeah, they are 21-point dogs.
Yeah. So I guess the good part is no one's expecting them to win.
Here's the thing, right? We understand what that means.
Joe America does
Sally, who watched 60 Minutes, doesn't want to see a 23-point. She's more like, oh,
they suck. Even if they lost by 10, it's going to feel like they got their butt kicked.
The new Deion fan likely knows nothing about football.
Or college football, yeah.
College football, how spreads work, because spreads indicate like you have a shot or not.
So 21-point underdog means they're supposed to get blown out of the water.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gotta do the Shedeur.
Shedeur. I can't believe this guy doesn't have like a Rolex deal yet.
And the content's so good.
I saw him and Tom Brady.
Yeah, Shedeur, Deion, Tom Brady doing podcasts.
If I'm a collegiate athlete playing football at another school, or I'm a high school superstar, how do you not go to Colorado? You're begging to go to that school. Because he talked about NIL. He was like, it's called name, image, likeness. He's like, if you got nappy hair and you ain't showered, you ain't gonna get a deal. He's like, they want to see the way you speak, to see how you dress. So then a CEO walks around and says, I want to be in business with that guy. That advice coming from Deion Sanders to like a 17-year-old.
Right, it's life-changing.
It's going to change their life. Literally change their life. I guarantee you how Deion's Colorado players are in the NFL will be substantially different. There will be more prepared for the NFL because of these types of things, not just athletically, mentally, were the things to be prepared for.
You already see it in the NBA. These kids come in at 19, 20. They're all well-spoken.
Yeah.
They're all clean. Like, they're all dressed like prim and proper.
Yeah.
And in basketball, your face is exposed and you're on Instagram all the time. Football, you're in a helmet.
So no one knows.
No one knows. So they're not as refined in years past. But now with NIL, you have to be refined.
Yeah. It's impressive, but I just like...
And then the 60 Minutes piece is
I haven't seen it yet. It's good?
I just saw the clips and it's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, he was talking, like the reporter tried to push back on when he said like, if you're not good enough, we're kicking you out of the team.
Yeah. And
he's like, how do you like justify that? He goes, if words are going to run you out of the locker room, you don't deserve to be in the locker room. Yeah. If you want to sit and play and perform, this is the place to be. I mean, isn't that saying the wrong message to kids? And then his answer was, sending the wrong message to kids is everyone wins at everything.
Yeah. This is the same conversation that causes uproar in corporate America when you want to build a high performance culture. Some people call it that toxic.
Yeah.
And so I think the beauty of what Deion Sanders is doing is like he's creating this like winning excellence culture, but he's such a good communicator that like it's hard to get mad at him. Like he doesn't curse, he doesn't come off angry.
He doesn't curse, drink, or smoke.
Damn. I am not Deion Sanders. Oh man, all I do is curse and drink. That's unbelievable. He's a great human being.
Great human being.
Yeah. And I actually like that he's religious. I think a lot of people need religion.
Yeah.
I think people
I don't disagree.
I think a lot of society is lost, and I think religion helps. And I think the way he even just talks about God is in a very positive light. It doesn't make you feel like I'm not turned off by it.
Right.
Whereas some other people, I'm turned off when they talk about God. Great. Who's your loser?
My loser is, unfortunately, on the same topic. VC Twitter is one of the most insufferable things on the planet.
The
like,
worst.
They should have their own Twitter.
Yeah.
Or their own X. Like,
Yeah.
Get off our platform.
Yeah.
And they're using the Dion stuff and comparing it to software companies. Shut the fuck up.
Remember I tweeted that. I was like, nah, wait till all the tech CEOs talk about Dion and the way they...
Yeah, like you didn't even know who Dion was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, reminds me of a software business that does this. And then, no, he's just fucking incredible motivator, coach, and leader.
Yeah. Yeah, VC Twitter is...
Comparing him to software?
Yeah.
That's worse than AI for cloud.
He's literally nothing like software. No. He's emotional.
Yeah.
He is not binary. He is not a guy that's about ones and zeros.
No.
There's nothing about this guy's software. He's all passion.
Yes. And he's all like subjective. Everything he says is subjective.
Yeah. It's what
Nothing
his
is
belief
objective.
is. He's telling you his belief. Oh, God. It's just, why can't they just shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
Just enjoy. Just be like, you know what? It's like Google. They're kicking everyone's ass. That's what Deion Sanders is.
You don't have to say any of that. Just write Coach Prime. That's what me and Anthony were talking about all weekend.
Oh, man. Man, I don't know. My losers are a lot of Hollywood people are getting taken down. It feels like the second coming of the Me Too era. Russell Brand seems to be the next kind of person on the hit list. Danny Masterson was last week.
Well, Danny Masterson convicted and is in jail for 30 years.
Yes.
Russell Brand is being
accusations.
accused. Yeah.
Accusations. I'm sure, whatever Danny Masterson did was very horrific. The accusations of Russell Brand are very serious, so we'll have to see what happens. I'm always interested in learning, the Me Too thing happened, what was that, 6, 7, 8 years ago?
Shorter, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Right before the pandemic, it peaked.
Yeah, so I guess my question is why now versus why didn't it come out then?
Well, there was always rumors.
Yeah.
But why are you saying
what made it happen possible for the case to be potentially opened up and accused? What was the impetus? Did Russell Brand get too big recently? I've heard he's gotten very popular recently, and people think it's targeting because of his political views. And someone was like,
well, the conspiracy theories are out.
Yeah. So there could
but if
be...
he committed the crime, he committed the crime.
Yeah, but I'm saying okay, cool, you did commit the crime, but why didn't you get your ass locked up 5 years ago?
I don't know.
Is it because now there's a motivation for other people to finance? I don't know. What is it?
Maybe. I don't know.
But it's interesting that it felt like the Me Too movement was the time. It was massive support where you could have gotten kind of consensus.
Yeah.
Hey, you did this. You got to go. But I'm curious to see if this starts snowballing into other people that basically have not been addressed, and now they're going to be addressed. I think Russell Brand's a big one. Just the way it's going down.
Yeah, and especially because the conspiracy theories are out.
Yeah.
Spoke up against big pharma. Spoke up against the military-industrial complex.
Yeah. And he feels like, I think he has a big audience now, which he didn't have 5 years ago.
Yeah, his YouTube channel got demonetized.
Yeah. That just unfortunately gives certain groups of people like, you know, ammo to come up with this type of stuff.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Content.
If he goes to jail because he committed crimes, I have no issue.
That's fine. It's just what my mom was curious of, like, why now? And I understand that if you went through a horrific thing, it takes time to cope with it and then do it and come to terms with it. But like, if it was 20 years ago or 10 years ago, especially when you had the momentum of the Me Too movement, where it gave a lot of people courage to come out. And so that's all.
Yeah.
Content.
I just hope the Colorado run keeps going.
Yeah.
Colorado, Oregon, this Saturday.
I'm hoping for like a moderate loss.
Well, you're hoping for a win.
I'm hoping for a win. I just, like, as someone that watches Oregon play, like, and their best player injured is just not a good sign. No.
If Travis Hunter was there, I bet you it swings like 21 to 15. Like almost a touchdown.
I mean, I think it's going to be a shootout.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a ton of points scored.
Yeah, because Bo Nix, the Oregon quarterback's first-round draft pick.
Yeah, he's not good.
But he will be a first-round draft pick. Remember he sucked at Auburn? And all of a sudden now he's
playing Portland State. Oregon's playing no one. I'm not giving Oregon any credit.
So you should expect a Colorado win then.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I think Oregon's overhyped. But, you know, they can still score, and I don't know how good Colorado is. But I think Oregon's overhyped.
Okay.
All right. My content is a podcast someone on our team put me on to. It's a podcast called Lenny's Podcast. Never heard of it. Apparently it's popular. And there's an episode around how to be a category killer. And it's really talking about how certain businesses create a category rather than businesses that like create a product or feature hoping to help a category. And there's like the distinction between those things. It's real. I'm like,
what's the distinction?
Basically, like, he used Purell as an example of how, like, I'm not going to even use the examples he did. I think Yeti created a category. Yeti created drink hydration as a premium product. The thought that people would spend $30, $40, $50, $60 for a water bottle 10, 20 years ago was insane. Now, when you think about drinkware, like, think about it. You bought
like Lululemon is
created a category.
High-end yoga pants.
Yeah, you would never think that was possible. I
so
think
then what are Uber, Airbnb, and Instacart?
They created a category. Like, those are category.
But there's also a category killer. They killed the taxi industry. Killed.
Yeah, but I think it's more of like, how do you build businesses? Because I think many times, like I use this in comparison of Ghost. If the way you're calculating TAM is, okay, how many discount retailers are there in the world? How many people, how much goods do they buy? And then
that's the wrong way to think about it.
But that's how everyone's calculating
That's why the same VCs are saying Deion Sanders is software.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm like, no. Do you know how many people in America arbitrage product? This is crazy. So we were selected part of a accelerated program with McKinsey, and they come every week and they're helping us think through a lot of things in our business. And yesterday in the meeting, there was 3 people from their team and 3 people from our team, excluding me. So there were 7 people. In the room when I left, and I go to them, I'm like, do you know why we're going to be $1 trillion company? Do you understand 60% of this fucking room is arbitraging inventory? They all said, I buy this and sell on Facebook Marketplace. I buy sneakers and do this. I bought my first lot of this off Ghost. That to me is like, we're creating a category. Like, we're creating an industry we're professionalizing an industry that's already happening. That is just a bunch of people looking in the garbage and trying to find gems. And I think, like, so many people underappreciate, instead, like investors particularly underappreciate, or they're just like, what's the TAM? If you had, think about it from this perspective, iPhone, if you had done the exercise on the TAM for a new cell phone, you would not have ended up at 3 trillion.
I mean, that's what Uber's argument always was. If you compare us to the taxi industry, you're not understanding the business.
Exactly. And I think like, yeah, it's a great podcast. If you're a founder, like I think you'll really appreciate it.
Cool.
That's it. Do we have any shout outs? Great. We'll have a wonderful weekend.
Yep.
Hopefully Drama's back on Sunday.
Do we let him in the studio or no?
How many days has it been?
He told us on Sunday. He's got to work from home.
Yeah. WFH.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's all we got, guys. Great to see everyone back in the studio. Just the two of us. There was a really great shout out that I think may have gone over people's heads. Josh in our Discord gave a big shout out to Drama in the Discord. Very active. And obviously he's not
in the Discord
or active. And so it was well received for all the Discord members. It was funny.
Yeah.
The Discord, when I was traveling, so active. And then finally on my plane ride home, I finally got caught up and read. It's like, there's just a lot going on. You got to keep going.
A lot of diverse topics.
Topics are everywhere. So good.
Last thing, you saw Aiden Ross is live streaming with Kim Jong-un tonight? Like, is that really going to happen? It's being posted everywhere.
Why not? It's America, free speech.
You think Kim Jong-un is just a big Twitch guy? It's like, I
guarantee you, Kim Jong-un watches Aiden Ross.
I agree.
Yeah. What is he doing all day? Dictating?
I mean, yeah, like all the princes and stuff. I mean, he's similar age to a lot of these young princes, but they're all gamers from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Like investors who've gone and pitched. He's like 33 years old.
Yeah.
And they run like the finance ministry of Saudi Arabia.
I mean, that's how it works in those countries. It's like, if you're in line, you get the job. Wow, Aiden Ross.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get some good content by Sunday.
Yeah. Incredible. All right. We will see you back on Sunday. What?
Remember Trump called him Rocket Man?
All right. We're out. Bye.